Hey everyone, I'm Nito King and welcome back to Goblins 2. Last time we managed to grow this magical beanstalk that took us all the way back to the village gate. But the prince is still stuck at the top of the beanstalk because he's hungry and refuses to come down to, say, where there might be some food. There's a hole right next to him which we can potentially use to get to him, and the other end is right down here. So, of course, we should be able to just reach in and pull him out of there. Of course, it's not going to be that simple. So let's have Winkle give it a go. Still doesn't work, but we made a bean fall out of the beanstalk. I guess that's food. Maybe we can give it to the prince.
Yippee!
No. And, of course, giving it to him through the hole is also not going to work. We're gonna need to get some real food. And there's an apple tree right over here. A rather familiar apple tree.
Yippee!
You're not thirsty this time?
No, but you have my permission to take an apple.
Ain't good enough for me. Let's just grab one of those apples. Sadly, we can't reach them, even though it looks like we should be able to. But we've got a couple of things left over from the very tiny room, and the match will do the job. But we're gonna need Fingus down there to catch the apple.
Hey, hello again, Mr. Tree! Didn't expect to see you again so soon! So, you're back in the village. Go to this door. It leads to Tazar.
Yeah, I'm aware that the door is our destination, but we need the prince to come with us. That was kind of the whole point of the quest. Sadly, we can't catch an apple with our bare hands. We're gonna need a tool. And there's one other thing in this room that we can interact with meaningfully. It's that same pile of stones we saw the last time we saw this tree. And someone's living inside.
Good morning, ma'am. Is that nice down there? No, it's rather chilly.
Well, that was useless. Let's see if Winkle gets any more useful information out of this mole.
Yippee!
I say, housewife, have you, got a basket?
Aren't you cheeky? If I had one, I'd really give it to you.
Well, that was at least a more useful inquiry, even if we didn't get anything out of it. But the mole does have something that we can use to catch an apple. If we can distract her long enough. So we'll have Winkle give her the bean. And there you have it. A perfect apple catching container. Because everyone knows that Link from the Legend of Zelda series is great at gathering apples. I mean, he has been since what? Link to the Past? And there we have it. We just need to give this apple to the prince. Well, it's slightly trickier than that. Because, well, Fingus is the one who gets the apple. We need to have Winkle give it to the prince. And just like that, he's gone. Well, there's nothing else to do but follow him and try to get him back. And welcome to the most annoying, most useless part of the entire game. Yep, it's another one of these random rooms that's completely disconnected from everything, with the prince trapped in a half-hourglass up at the top. And a whole bunch of just random objects. Clearly, we're going to need to get that bowling ball. And I'm not going to bore you with going into detail about all the different pieces of all these puzzles before solving them. Sometimes we're just going to skip to the solutions. There's an extra trick to this room. We've got this flagstone here, which activates the jack-in-the-box to the left. But everything on the left side of the screen is kinda stuck behind this symbol monkey. And once we've crossed over it, Fingus won't go back. So there are a couple of different ways you could try to get him back. One obvious thing to do is have him stand on the lid. And bounce on the flagstone. But no, he's still stuck there. The only way to get him back, that I know of anyway, is to have him stand on the seesaw and have Winkle come over and jump from the star to send him back. As for Winkle, he can just make his own way back. But it's a good idea not to send Fingus over to the left until you absolutely have to. So with that in mind, we're going to need to take that bowling ball that we collected earlier and launch that from the jack-in-the-box. The first time, we'll want to have Winkle standing on the jack-in-the-box with it. And again, this is just a completely random series of events that you'll have to work your way through, bit by bit. Also get used to this catching a bowling ball animation, because you're going to see it quite a few times. So we've got another bowling ball, which we can put on the lid of the jack-in-the-box. And sort of like the last time we did one of these mushroom-induced rooms, where things go to when you use bounce pads depends on how many characters are standing on it at the time. We finally have access to the stuff up at the top of the room, including the prince himself. But he'll just end up right back where he started if we don't manage to rescue him all in one step. And this guy with the snail shell hat can blow a bubble, but we need both characters to activate the two switches. Meanwhile, that bubble is just going to sit over there, so we can hop on, and again, to avoid wasting time, I'll just get Fingus ready to go. Picking up this safety pin is going to be key to actually rescuing the prince. And now we've made our way back to the initial state of the room, pretty much. So, time to get another bowling ball. And we just need to get back up to the top of the room, which we fortunately already know how to do. If you mess up at any point, you might have to repeat large portions of this puzzle. But at least getting the safety pin is a one-time thing. So at last, we need to get both characters up here, and this final flagstone, right at the edge of the screen, is the key to the whole thing. It makes that bottom flagstone spring up. So at last, it's time to bring Fingus over to the left. Remember that once you do this, it's a real pain to get him back to the right, so you only want him over here at the very end of everything. So now, both characters are in position, and we want Fingus activating the bubble blower and Winkle freeing the prince. I'm pretty sure this is the way we need to do it. And gotta get Winkle in position because this bubble will pop almost immediately if we don't pop it first. And the prince will just go right back into the hourglass. But we freed him, and now we can finally get into the village. We've got all three characters, so it's just this one door with a suspicious keyhole mark on it. Naturally, we'll need to find a key, or at least ring the doorbell. You can do this the first time you're in the room, but there's not a whole lot to be done about it because we need all three characters. We need Fingus to push the button to reveal the key, we need the buffoon to stand on top of the catapult, and we need Winkle to launch him up where he can grab the key. Hello? Oh, we're not even nearly done yet. Now the prince has been kidnapped by a bird, and we need to go get him. Again. And the first half of the game is rescuing the prince from the demon, and then everywhere he goes he just gets kidnapped again and again. Or does it to himself. And by the way, this is the worst room in the game, possibly in the entire series. See, the prince is up there in the upper left, held captive by those birds, one of which we already freed earlier in the game. And we can't just walk up the path to get to him. Now, Winkle might have more luck, but then this room would be over and I wouldn't be complaining about what a pain it is, would I? Now, the whole thing centers around this stone lying on the ground. So, whenever anything moves upward in one of these games, it means we need a character standing on top of it. But it doesn't launch us anywhere we couldn't have gotten ourselves. The key here is that we need to have both of the characters work together to move this stone up to a higher ledge. And in fact, the first time around we're going to need it all the way up at the top. Now, when we launch ourselves from here, we'll actually get somewhere useful. We're up on the shoulder of this giant that looks a heck of a lot like Woodruff. Long before Woodruff was a thing. And that's all we needed to do was knock the head off his staff. But we'll need to launch ourselves now from the middle platform, and from this point you have to do everything exactly right. Including having Winkle be the one to get launched. The first time either one of them can push the head down, the second time it has to be Winkle. So as you'll see, Winkle can now push the head off the ledge. And we've just reset the puzzle to its initial state. And since we'll need both characters to get back up to where the head is, you have to do the whole thing over again. Unless you saved your game and can simply reload. We need Fingus to be standing on the lion's head when Winkle pushes the staff's head. Hopefully you saw that coming in advance. And at last, we're just one step away from getting to those birds. That's not what I wanted to do at all. I wanted to have Fingus do that. But he can't interact with anything over there. And we get to start the whole thing over again. Starting to get annoyed yet? Because when I was a kid, I never even thought about loading in the middle of the room. I'd just do the whole puzzle again. Now you've got two hotspots here. The one on the left will just make you jump down, so don't use it. You need to use the one in the middle to bring the rock down to Winkle's level. And that's why you had to have Fingus on the rock first. Winkle can't do that. And Winkle will be able to make our way over to that ledge there. He can actually grab this rock at the edge, which Fingus couldn't. But you gotta be pretty quick. Granted, it's not really a matter of timing so much, you just have to have Fingus step to the edge of the rock before Winkle does. And he'll just automatically cross the bridge. It's really hard to screw up from here.
Have you taken our buffoon? He's a prince. Sorry, but you must help us recover our freedom.
Fortunately, that's easy enough to do. We just do what we should have done in the first place and saw the bars of the cage. And finally, we can grab the key and bring the prince along with us. Granted, I don't know how you get down from this ledge. I don't know if you even can. Oh. Well, there we go. Okay, so we can get back to the ground. It's kind of irrelevant, because once you've dealt with the birds and grabbed the key, we can just have Winkle leave the screen, and the other two will follow. And from here, it's a really simple matter of just unlocking the gate.
As the goblins return triumphantly to the village, they notice that the buffoon looks strange. This child is possessed. I'll take him to my laboratory. We must make him drink the water of my fountain. Get some and come right back.
And so begins Chapter 7, with the prince yet again under the influence of a demon. So, what was it that we needed to do?
Noble magician, can you help us make the prince drink the water?
I'm sorry, friend. The demon knocked me out and I have to recover.
Yeah, Tazar's not really any help in this room either.
Hey, wizard, give us a hand. This isn't easy, you know. Ah, nah. Now is not the time. I'm exhausted anyway. Bother!
No, I have no idea why he talks with Winkle's voice. But in our possession we have the fountain water that he asked us to get, and we just need to find a way to make the buffoon drink it. Like, by clicking it on him. And it's that easy. And then he gets kidnapped by yet another demon. And we have to go rescue him. Again. Fortunately, we're almost done, and we'll be back to finish this game next time. See you then.